All right. So the, there's a lot of stuff going on in the veterans community recently with uh, lots of tier one and tier two operators being called out for lying, for stolen valor and just blatant lies. And I didn't I didn't necessarily want to do this video, but it needs to be done. It's these guys, man. Like, I don't want to take anything away from them. The shit that they do on a daily basis, uh, it's pretty hardcore. You know what I mean? It's they um they get into some shit. You know what I mean? It's the real deal, and these guys are the best of the best, right? As like an infantryman myself, um, you know, we look up to these dudes. They get they get all the cool gear. They get to uh, you know, they don't shave. They're they walk around posts, fucking beards and long hair, and uh, they just get all the badass gear, you know, and they get the coolest missions too. And they get the most training. A lot of high speed shit. And so, you know, as an infantryman, we you know, we obviously we hold our own. You know, most people don't know this, but we tend to do um, like twice as many missions as they do, maybe even three times. I know my first deployment, I think I probably did three or four times as many missions as a as like a tier one or a tier two guy does combat missions. Um, just because we're in the sector all day. You know what I mean? I was there for 15 months, and so we're going out on a mission two, three times a day sometimes. And these guys get pretty set missions, and they'll deploy for 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months, shit like that. So um, we hold our own, and we definitely have our own job to do. But they man, their job is sexy. You know what I mean? And so I hate to even do this to take away anything from them, but it's something that has to be done, right? And this first video is about Rob O'Neill, the person who killed um, UBL, Bin Laden. And as most of us think we know it based off of his book and stuff like that, they they went in after they had found him, and Rob's story is that he ends up, if I remember correctly, being like the number two man, getting ready to go onto the third floor, and that's where they know Bin Laden's supposed to be up there, and the number one man goes into a room. There's some females there, so he and they're too close. So when they're that close and they are a possible threat, but they're not necessarily armed or whatever, your job is to kind of push them through the room to the corner, right? So they're not in your way, and they're not in the person behind you's way. You know what I mean? So that everything's clear. You know what I mean? And so the point man takes these two um, women with him to the wall, and then Rob says he has Bin Laden is using his wife as a human shield, and Rob explains that there's kind of a moment, and Rob ends up shooting him, I believe, in the face, if I remember correctly. I'll show you a little clip.
And I'd moved from this point from like the eighth guy to the second guy because everyone else went to the right and to the left because you want to clear obviously the area before you move on. But now we're down to two and we're pointing at the last set of stairs. And Above it there was a curtain. It looked kind of like a shower curtain, but it was like a green olive drab type thing. And we can see there's sort of backlit. There's people moving, and we assumed those are the suicide bombers. But Bin Laden's in there, and the guy in front of me took a shot before we got there, and they're moving around. And I'm the two man, and my job as the two man is to hold him and wait. His job is to simply look forward. Don't drop security, and I got you. And through effective communication, when it's your time to go, I will squeeze you. It's on. I'm just telling you through effective communication, we have enough guys. But we don't have enough guys. We're out of guys. It's two of us. And I want four more. I'll take two. But he starts saying, "We got to go. Come on, we got to go." He doesn't know it's me. He knows it's one of his guys. And what he's saying is those are basically suggesting those are the suicide bombers. But if we go right now, we can beat them. And I remember taking a deep breath, and it was by no means bravery on my part. It was more of a, okay, we're gonna blow up now, and I'm tired of thinking about it. Let's fucking get it over with. So I give him a squeeze, and he goes up, and he moves the curtain, and there are three people standing there. He didn't have even enough time. He just jumped on them. How he doesn't have a Medal of Honor is beyond me. He jumped on the grenade so the guy behind him could get the shot.
Damn.
So and simply because he went this way, I turned this way. And standing 3 feet in front of me is Osama bin Laden, and he's got his hands on Oniell, his wife's shoulders. And I don't know what he's doing. He's not surrendering. He's maneuvering somehow. His hands are on her, and I remember thinking, he's taller than I thought. He's skinnier than I thought.
So you knew it was him as
Right
soon as
away.
you turned
Right
the
away.
corner?
Yep. His beard is gray. He's not surrendering. He's got to have a suicide belt. So I shot him twice when he was standing up. I shot him again on the floor, and then
All right, so those are Rob's own words, right? Now, there are some issues with that, and the truth is coming out, and from this isn't just me making stuff up. This is people who were there. All right, and I'll give you a quick overview, and I'll let you listen to some of their accounts so that you're hearing it not just from me, but how it really happened. Apparently, was Rob was actually like number 8 in the stack, and the one man before pushing into the room fired 2 rounds at Osama bin Laden because he saw him standing in the room, and he fired 2 rounds, and I believe, and one of them was lethal. One of them was the one that took him down. And so what happened was, and Rob wasn't the 2 man either. The number 2 man went into the room and also took a shot at him. The reason being, so something you do is it's making sure your targets are dead, especially for these guys. Not so much for us, but these guys are on a quick, fast mission. They're clearing houses. They got to move on to the next room, next room, next room. You know what I mean? It's a smaller force. We usually have plenty of guys. So if you take a couple shots at somebody, you're still moving. It's still very fluid, right? So the next man in will put a round on him to make sure he's done as well, and the next man as well, the next man as well. You know what I mean? You're just double checking. That way, you don't have to pass it on. You don't have to be like, "Hey, did you guys kill him? Did you make sure he's fucking dead?" You know what I mean? Hey, is he dead? You're like, then you're talking throughout the whole house. Everybody can fucking hear you. You don't know what else you have to do, where else you have to clear, what's going on, what's next. You don't need to be talking that much. You know what I mean? It's fucking stealth and speed and violence of action are key. So as you go past somebody who's already down, make sure he's down. Well, I guess Rob, the other thing that wasn't supposed to happen was they had all kind of agreed beforehand, based off of testimony, that nobody was going to shoot him in the face because they needed to be able to ID him when some of these particular rounds impact the face. Some of them tumble more, and some of them are meant to immediately expand and mushroom on impact, and that can cause some serious. I don't know if contusion is the right word, but you have to imagine like the second it hits your skin, as soon as it goes past, it is literally destroying everything behind that. So one round to the face, to the cheek, is going to make your you know what I mean. It's going to everything. You know, the eyeball is going to be red. It's going to be there's going to be a ton of pressure. There's going to be a bunch of swelling. All of it behind. You know the entry wound itself necessarily won't be that bad, but you know a centimeter, a millimeter behind that, it started to cause all sorts of chaos. So one or two rounds of face can really distort somebody if it's the right ammunition. Some other ammunition is like some of the 5.56 we use. It's like a pinpoint, dude. It's in and out, it's front and back. But that's like 50, 62 grain. If I remember 55, 62. I think we use 62, but these guys I believe use 77, which is a lot heavier, and it causes more damage. So those are a couple issues with his story. And let me just, I'll go ahead and play some of this so you guys can hear this.
Third floor bedroom, red. Now, red is commonly referred to, what is always referred to as the point man is also commonly referred to as red. And red is not DJ Shipley. Red is not Rob Oniell because of his red hair. Red is the point man. Red saw bin Laden standing in the doorway peering out. He was unarmed and wearing pajamas. A few of his female relatives were nearby. Red came to a stop and fired 2 shots with his suppressed rifle. One shot hit bin Laden in the chest, and the second shot glanced off his hip or thighs. Bin Laden stumbled backward into the room and fell toward the foot of his bed. That is the story I've heard over and over. Red, the point man, shot him in the chest. He stumbled in. Everyone else hit a pile-on shooting.
So that the person they're talking about, Red, is his name. He is the point man. And kind of some weird things about this whole story. Red apparently is a type of human being. Apparently, he's not interested in talking to anybody at all. Like, he doesn't want to be found. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's not interested in taking any credit. He is a silent professional. He doesn't even want to give any interviews. He doesn't want people to know who he is. He's just not interested. So it kind of plays a perfect storm, or not a perfect storm, but it kind of ends up being like, did Rob plan this based off of that? You know what I mean? Like, this guy's never going to fucking talk, you know what I mean? So I can say whatever I want. And it makes you kind of wonder who came to him. So Rob has some arguments for this stuff, saying that he sent his book up to like the I forget who has to clear it at the DOD, I believe, and it was cleared. But one of the things is the higher ups, just people that high up at that level, when they clear it, they just make sure there's no sensitive information, right? And that's what they clear. They're probably not even reading the contents of the book or double checking it. They're making sure you're not putting out anything classified. The lower level, Rob's peers and Rob's direct chain of command, those would be the ones that would go, bullshit. And he didn't even, he purposely, obviously, did not send that in to them to check out. And he's obviously, denied this claim and stuff like that. And there were some people, some other people who dove into this, some other people who have some more information than I do, because they're a little bit more connected, being tier 1 operators. So I'm just trying to bring you the information that they've given. They asked, they said it's kind of curious. Like, they're like, so after you guys killed bin Laden, did Rob ever mention to any of you guys did he ever take credit for it? And let's say, like, yeah, I killed bin Laden, and they all said, yeah, no, he never once said that. He knew he wasn't the person who did it, and he never tried to take credit for it. So Rob has been, it's called persona non grata. It is, they didn't take his trident, and I don't know if they will. I have no idea. He is, people from the unit are not allowed to talk to him anymore. He is no longer allowed to be in the SEAL community or in the unit at all. In fact, they'll get in trouble. I did hear a story. I don't know if it's true or not, so take that with a grain of salt. That somebody was friends with Rob and was allowing him to crash at his couch after this kind of first came out, after Rob wrote the book. And after the chain of command had said you're not allowed to hang out with him, like, he's a liar and all that stuff, whatever. And the guy's like, screw that, he's my friend, I'm gonna let him stay or whatever. And they found out, and I don't know if they demoted him or what, but he got punished for it because they were serious. They're like, no, we're not messing around. So, that is, I mean, it's just, it's one of those things, man. I makes you wonder why he did it. I mean, millions of dollars obviously is why he did it, writing the book and stuff like that. But the balls, you know what I mean? Like, he's not the only one. There's some other people I'm going to talk to you about later that are famous as well, and they lied too. You know what I mean? I don't know if this is considered stolen valor. I guess so, because you're stealing credit from whoever that was, and that's an actual crime. To think nobody's going to say anything, you know what I mean? That's what's kind of interesting about this Red individual, the point man. The other person you heard talk was the actual number 2 man. And so this Red guy is just not interested in speaking at all, and it's really interesting. I mean, he could show up and clear all this up, but I think he's probably just one of those old school SEAL special ops type. When you're done, you'd rather just go hang out in the woods and never fucking talk to anybody ever again. And you just don't want to deal with it. Don't want, because if people know who he is, everybody's gonna want something from him. And I think he realizes that. But it's just really interesting, that he did that, dude. And it sucks because, like I said, we look up to these guys. You know what I mean? SEAL Team 6 is like the elite. It's tier 1. It's up there. I mean, arguably, it's up there with your Delta Force and stuff like that. I still think Delta Force is way fucking cooler, but it's these guys are fucking badasses, and it just makes you wonder. Like I say, with these other guys, there's like it's not like a small man complex, but these guys are lying to make themselves sound cooler, and it's like, how much fucking cooler do you need to be, bro? You know what I mean? Like, shit. Like, you're already in like the 0.0000001% of the world. How much cooler you need to be, dude? Fuck. Just yeah. It's fucking, yeah. I don't know. It's funny. I don't know if you guys know how the tier system works. So a lot of you guys maybe might be civilians, have never heard, or you've heard it but you have no idea. So like tier 1 is your elite special forces, and they are, if I remember correctly, it goes by like ability to be mobilized and go out. And I don't remember the exact amount of time, but basically they are the fastest and most badass and most well equipped. If somebody calls on them, they can be ready immediately, basically. Then you have your tier 2, which is the other Navy SEALs, the other groups, Rangers. I don't know if the Green Berets altogether fall under that or what. I think MARSOC falls under that as well. And so those are tier 2 guys, and they are obviously still fucking very, very, very well trained. And but I think it takes him a little bit longer to get out the door and be prepped and stuff like that. And then there's tier 3, which are conventional units, 82nd Airborne, 1st Infantry Division, shit like that. So I always like fucking as a joke, especially if I'm around somebody who was like tier 1 or tier 2, tier 2. I tell them that I was tier 3. I'm a tier 3 operator because there's like no such thing, dude. Like nobody the term operator is definitely designated for those guys, for like your tier 1 and 2. Although part of the operator tier level is tier 3, but it just sounds funny. It's a funny fucking joke, dude. But you know, I, our our unit did a lot, right? And we got tons of awards and presidential unit citations and fucking books written about us, and a lot. Like, we did a lot. Um, Most people who are in the community know who we are, because of everything we went through. And I still look up to those guys. You know what I mean? I still fucking wish I had their job. And it's like, and still they need to lie. For what, dude? You know. So, yeah, like I said, not to take away from any of these guys, dude. And Rob, if you end up seeing this, man, fucking nothing against you, dude, at all. You're obviously still fucking badass. You still have a silver star from other operations. And nothing from you at all, dude. Sometimes we just fuck up and say some shit. But yeah, next time, let me know what you guys think. If I get any more information, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, let me know what you think about Red. Like, comment, share if you will. And later on, my next video, I'm not sure who it's going to be about, but there's some big names: Tim Kennedy, Marcus Luttrell, fucking Chris Kyle. Like, dudes that I wish I didn't have to talk about, because I think they're fucking rad, but it's life, dude. So, anyway, thanks, guys. I just wanted a couple more things because I thought this was important. Because I know people are gonna want to argue about this. An investigative reporter, right, talked to 18 SEALs that were there. Every one of them corroborated that other story. Not a single one of them corroborated Rob's story. All right. Also, Bin Laden's wife, right? Rob said that she was being used as a human shield or whatever. Bin Laden's wife later came out and talked about the night that they raided and killed her husband. And she said she was not a human shield whatsoever. She said that she was one of the women that Red pushed against a wall, because she said she initially lunged at the point man in anger, right? And also the other thing, the pylon shooting that I told you about, where they walk by and shoot the body afterwards. They had agreed not to shoot him in the face at all, so that way it'd be easy to identify him, so there would be no issues. And I guess when Rob walked by, he shot him multiple times in the face, which pissed off a bunch of the guys there. They're like, what the fuck did you do that for, dude? We agreed not to do that, so it'd be easy to identify him. Rob did that. Also, another thing, Bin Laden, this is a little known fact, had dyed his beard entirely black, right, as like a last effort to kind of hide his identity somewhat. He dyed it jet black. The operators that were there that night when they killed him all said that they were surprised at how dark his beard was, because they'd always seen gray pictures, right? And Rob, again, says he sees him standing there with a gray beard, right? And another thing, they cut the power to the entire house. There was no power whatsoever in that entire house, right? None. In Rob's story, Rob says he sees a behind this curtain, right? And nobody else mentions this fucking curtain, right? But it's like Rob had to make something up so that way the point man couldn't have had a clear shot at Bin Laden. So it's like he added this curtain there. Rob says they saw these people running around behind it, and it was kind of backlit, and they could see these people run around and stuff like that. Backlit from what? There wasn't a light on the entire fucking house, is what everybody said. There was not a single light anywhere. So, like I said, dude, these are those are some things that I forgot that needed to come up. Just research it yourself, dude. It's fucking out there, dude, and this has actually been out for a while, and they've done a good job at kind of keeping it secret, hush hush. But it's research it, man. Look into it, okay? He's lying about it, man. He is. So, yeah, check it out. Dig into it.